Sony blanketed the living hell out of GDC this year with info bombs left and right concerning the much touted, much rumored, much speculated PlayStation VR. This headset that all VR aficionados and all fans have been asking question after question and wondering about, and Sony went ahead and answered them. We got to find out the price point. It's going to be $400. Now let's keep in mind that $400, that's half the price of the HTC Vive, and that's $200 down from the Oculus Rift. Now, they more than likely had seen what they're going to charge and figured this is the only way that they're going to get people to try to come over to the PlayStation side and experience VR gaming with them. And considering that they have the biggest console platform to do that on, they might be able to do pretty well with it, assuming that this isn't one of those fly-by-night fads that just comes and goes, similar to 3D gaming and motion controls. Then they had said the amount of games that will be available. It's launching in October. That's going to be the release date. They didn't say an exact date, but it's going to be in October of this year. And they said they'll have at least 50 games before the end of the year. So within those couple months between fall and winter, you're going to see 50 games out. Ones that are exclusive for the PlayStation VR and ones that are just compatible. And this wasn't just all indie games and shit like that. I had seen that they had shit like Star Wars Battlefront, they had Until Dawn, they had Tekken, they had Ace Combat. So I was kind of surprised to see some heavy hitter names tossed in there. Until Dawn made me kind of curious though, because I'm like, well, that's a third-person game with fixed camera angles and shit, so I mean, how exactly is that going to work unless this game is going to be its own thing? I don't know if this is like a full-fledged sequel to the original, but who the fuck knows? I'd like the game, so fuck it. But Ace Combat, flight sims, and racing sims, I think are ideal and perfect for something like this. Ever since I have seen multi-monitor setups and got to experience them sitting inside of an actual racing chair with a wheel with all these I was just like, dude, this is fucking badass. The ultra widescreen format works really well for something such as that, and considering you can just move your head around and see 360 degrees everywhere around you, I mean, that sounds pretty fucking cool. And flying around shooting missiles and gunning things down, I was like, okay. Tekken 7, though, I was like, huh, so it's a fighting game. We're gonna have a first-person mode in it? Not to say that that's all that shocking, because Namco's dabbled within a first-person perspective in fighting games numerous different times, and I'm talking like even way, way, way back in the day in the 90s. So this, yeah, again, not all that shocked. They did say that there's gonna be a Dead or Alive Extreme game on there. So that's gonna be some Faptacular Friday type of deals where everybody's fucking one-arm banditing to it and just be like, I'm doing it for the story! I swear, it's for the narrative, don't judge me! Oh, my arm's fucking tired, so I'm gonna have to go and switch off and do the old Stranger. But Dead or Alive with that, then, you know, social justice warrior is gonna come in and be like, be damned, oh, how dare you, with the bouncing jubblies and shit. So then importing is gonna have to be a thing, so, you know, PlayAsia, Amazon, whoever the fuck you're going through, there you go. But this is something that, with all the different VR headsets that are out, I mean, if I had to choose, I kind of want to lean towards HTC Vive, only because it's got the highest stats on it, and PC compatibility with something like that, I think, will allow it to be able to do more. But the PlayStation VR is half the motherfucking price. Now, the only downside to the PlayStation VR by comparison to the other ones is it's a slight bit heavier with just the unit itself than its competition, and it's just running in HD. The other ones are up to at least a 2K resolution. Now, whether that's going to be a make or break situation, I have no clue, because this shit would be slapped right up against my fucking eyeballs. So I'm looking at it with my eyes, I'm like, is this going to look really fucking sweet, or is it going to look like puckered butthole? I have absolutely no clue, because I've never gotten to try the Oculus Rift. I've never gotten to try the PlayStation VR, never got to try the HTC Vive, never got to try anything. So until I have a hands-on experience with any of this, it's really just speculation and kind of wondering from me. The games, though, that's the main thing. Like, for me, I'm like, racing games and horror games. That's what I want to see on one of these headsets. That's what I think would be the most fun. You know, first person action adventure games. Like, if I could go and take the Dolphin emulator and get Metroid Prime up and running and use a VR headset with it, that would be fucking awesome. I'd be Samus. minus the sex appeal of tiggle bitties and shit whenever I'm wearing the Zero Suit Samus thing. Though if I did, everybody would see the Alpha Omega bulge, and I'd have a new kind of fan base up and running. But this is something that I truly have to wonder, will this go and take off? I know that they sold out of these units, lickety-split, just like that, and that's not all that surprising because it's brand new tech. People love to jump on bandwagons as soon as possible because they want to be the first to the dance and try this shit out firsthand. But how many of those people are actually trying to get it for themselves, and how many are trying to go and resell and flip this shit immediately? You already know that this stuff happens all the fucking time. There are resellers galore, and this shit is a constant, consistent problem everywhere and anywhere, that there's some kind of demand for a product, a service, whatever the fuck it is. So I wonder, who are the truly enthusiastic ones who want to go and play this, and who are the ones who are just trying to cash in on a future purchase? I have no clue, but it's still a point that needs to be brought up. Now, am I going to get one? I would like to get one, but even at $400 for a novelty experience, I really have to be sold on something like this. I would rather wait until there's a plethora of games out there, the price maybe comes down a little bit, or I get to try out a demo unit and find out whether or not this is something for me. Again, Oculus Rift and HTC Vive, I mean, they have a bit more options because they're PC compatible, and I know that people will be working feverishly, you know, day in and day out to make tons of things available for that. And you also have the, well, you have the fact that you have tons more apps and programs that'll be based strictly around this. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool, but this would be more just strictly about gaming. And I know that this can go into the movie-going experience. I don't really need that because I have a gigantic fucking TV sitting in my game room right now, so I'm just fine with that. Now, there are movies that are made with the Oculus Rift and VR in mind that have been around for a while, which I think that that would be kind of cool seeing some shit like that. Again, it would be all about an experience. But as my everyday movie-going experience, no, I'd much rather just plop down in front of a fucking TV. Maybe it's just because I'm used to that kind of experience, but I don't know. It's just, I'm fine with how that is. Now, they did say that there's 360-degree movies, pictures, and all sorts of other shit that are out there that this could be used with. That's something I think that would be kind of cool. I've seen them, but, you know, you have to sit there and take the mouse pointer and drag it and roll shit around and try to get a full perspective of what it looks like. Whereas this, you look around at it in real time and feel almost immersed within it. Now, having this bundled with headsets and like headphones and shit, you know, if I'm playing a horror game, will this be, like, completely different than me just setting up a 5.1 surround sound system and then playing with a big fucking TV in front of me with the lights off? You know, will this get me so in tuned with the world, with the atmosphere? Will I be so immersed in this that, without a doubt, I will feel that this had warranted the purchase and the price and all that shit? Will it make that kind of a difference? That remains to be seen. Again, it's something I would just need to have my hands on. You know, and it kind of makes me miss the days when you could go and rent systems and shit from, like, you know, Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and all the other shit and Game Crazy. I love that kind of stuff, and I always thought that was kind of cool, but there's really nowhere around anymore that lets you do shit like that. Now, will there be demo units floating around in different game stores and shit? I'm sure that there are, but every time I go somewhere such as, like, a Walmart or a Target, it looks like they take the controllers and just nod the fuck off. Like, it looks like it was put into a fucking zoo. And, I mean, when it's in a Walmart, it kind of is in a zoo. But, you know, that remains to be seen. And all that shit, I'd rather go extinct, rather, you know, by comparison, in a zoo, you know, I want to cherish and take care of these things so that they can live on for, you know, future generations to be able to see and not go extinct. But, yeah, the motherfuckers in Walmart, they can totally go extinct. Is this going to be worth $400? Is this going to be worth the experience? Are these games going to be so different from you picking up a controller that you must have it, you must own it, and you must experience it this way time and again? I have no clue. Many of you out there probably don't, except for the people who actually have Oculus Rifts. And all of you, you're lucky motherfuckers. I don't have one. My broke ass can't fucking afford one. Anyway, this is AlphaOmegaSin. As always, nerds, that's a gamer's game. The fuck off.